The daunting security, economic, and environmental challenges confronting not just Nigeria, but the global community have increasingly worsened living conditions of many, especially women and children in developing countries. The United Nations, however, believes that much of the world's socio-economic crisis would reduce if adequate investment is directed at empowering women who have for centuries been discriminated against. In one of its statements, it says, closing the gaps in care and expanding services with decent jobs could spark almost 300 million jobs by 2035, which will contribute significantly to GDPs. There is no doubt women have contributed significantly to national development, despite records of injustice and marginalization. On the spot this week will take us on a woman well known for women and girls advocacy for national development, to speak on the importance of beating the odds of gender inequality and contribution of women, Nigerian women to national development. I am Joseph Utsen. Welcome to the program. Now, my guest is a corporate and entrepreneurship consultant and TV personality. She is renowned for counseling youth and women of all ages. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in English language and has over the years built a reputation for herself as a foremost voice in media, enterprise, politics, and governance due to her advocacy and interventions as a philanthropist and influencer. In 2022, she featured as the sole female senatorial aspirant in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, under the platform of the ruling party APC, as part of her inspirational moves for women representation. Her distinguished work earned her a place among the top 100 leading women in Nigeria for the year 2022 by the Nigerian Women Annual 100 Leading Women 2022 edition. My guest is a patron of several foundations and groups, such as the African Culture Transformation Initiative. She is also a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Management Consultant and a certified management consultant, and the co-chairperson of the Nigeria, Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce, Abuja, Nigeria. She is the convener of the annual DBL Bold and Beautiful, a platform for African girl child advocacy. On the spot is the mandate secretary, Women Affairs and Children for the FCT, Adedayo Benjamin's Laniyi. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, and greetings to everyone viewing and online.
Okay, we are talking contribution of women, national development. Let me start here where you hold a very key important position. FCT. What would you say is the position of women today in FCT?
Well, as the pioneer mandate secretary for the Mandate Secretariat for Women Affairs, of course, spanning children and also women and girls with disabilities and in vulnerable spaces. The focus really is the opportunity that His Excellency the Honorable Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike has given to reprofile the opportunities as well as interventions for women in the Federal Capital Territory, not just as sideline beneficiaries of initiatives, but more importantly, being centered through an FCT administrative arrangement and mapping that now is able to engage every woman in the FCT, indigene or resident, in the 62 local government wards of the 6 area councils looking at every community, leaving no woman or adolescent girl or any woman or adolescent girl challenged with disability or a vulnerable scenario by experience, an IDP woman in the FCT, or by any other social ramification or dysfunction or just a malfunction of life, because these are incidentals that happen to women and the girl child. And right now what we have therefore is a project, as Mr. Project, our FCT minister is called, that directly reprograms opportunities, investment, and very significant revalidation of women centered at policy redirected initiatives, socioeconomic benefits, health, nutrition, education, agriculture, economic value chains, the whole reformation, as it were, taking what was an agenda for a political campaign, Renewed Hope, and now making it a directive of the Renewed Hope Initiative, also through the direct intervention of the Renewed Hope Initiative of Her Excellency the First Lady, the distinguished Oluremi Tinubu CON's project for women and children.
Okay, we know the FCT minister, Mr. Project, he prides himself as talk and do person, and we have actually seen him hitting the ground running. Regarding to these women and girls that you are talking about, have you hit the ground running? That is what the mandate of your office is. But well, what have been done so far? We have seen how the minister have done. In this regard, what have you done so far?
I should really ask you, or ask the public, but the reality is this is the 140th day. From the day I was inaugurated and sworn into office, which was the 24th of October, I came straight into the 16 days of activism for women and the girl child in terms of the universal fight against gender-based violence. And what FCT Women Affairs Secretariat did was to create a very unique reprofiling of what has more commonly been referred to as activism to become advocacy. We were able, by twinning with the wives of traditional rulers in the 17 chiefdoms of the FCT, engage with women and adolescent girls in the grassroots locations of both where they live, where they school, where they farm, where they eat, all of that environmental engagement. We went to them and we were able, through the conversation and a very direct connection and collaboration through, like I said, the wives of the chiefdoms, starting with the wife of the Honor Babaji, who's the paramount ruler of FCT. His wife, Haja Hawa Baba Yunisa, was able to sit with us and we reconstructed an engagement. We were able to meet with the traditional rulers. They were able to speak and profile their own concerns as well as their own representation above patriarchy, above religion, above the perception that, oh, tradition wants to hold back from helping the women and the girl child to come into a new space of engaging their identity above gender-based violence. And they were able to speak out and say, let the voices of women and the girl child be heard. It's the first time they've had anyone come to have this conversation with them like this. We were able to raise, as a pilot project, to run for 1 year, 310 adolescent girls that express through their voices and through their own authentic expressions that which is their own charge against gender-based violence directed at them, and also work with, as peer influencers in their communities, 310 of them, 5 girls each from the 62 wards of the FCT. We didn't let it end there. His Excellency, our Honorable Minister, went ahead and gave to the FCT what never in the history of FCT's 48 years has ever existed, and I dare say anywhere else in the geopolity of Nigeria. he gave us the FCT Day of the Adolescent Girl Child, which is to give not just voice, but a visible traction for their engagement and the space of scaling it for impact in terms of educational resources, opportunities, as well as skill sets and a value delineation based on the culture that we find here in the epicenter of North Central Nigeria. Okay. Moving forward, what we're also able to do is to build on that, to begin to work with the economic emancipation, working through humanitarian initiatives that partner with or collaborate with Her Excellency the Youth Hope Initiative. 21st of December, we were able to partner and present and give to 250 elders within the FCT a 100,000 naira intervention along with other palliatives to these elderly people from 65 upwards. And it was a message that says from the heart of this administration, we as not just women and mothers are going to model interventions of leadership that begin to redirect humanitarian action as humanitarian a humanitarian revolution. We are now able to move from there, right now moving into where coming through that same intervention through the adolescent girls and working specifically for the first time in women affairs in the FCT, women with disabilities, now being able to bring them to the fore, the front line. Their issues are distinct and apart from issues related to every other woman, every other girl within that space. They are for the first time in the FCT, even on our national dashboard, being able to capture their own numbers, their own data concerning their own experiences, their own vulnerabilities, and yes, victims, as well as identify perpetrators that have particularly attacked them because of their disability vulnerability. We move forward with that. Like I said, it's 140 days.
Okay.
You understand?
That's quite much. That's quite much. I want to get the political will to execute all this.
There's no way I could be talking about all this if the political will wasn't there.
No.
I am a servant. What His Excellency has done is to bring out a first investment of 30 million naira for empowerment. Now, this empowerment, please understand, is not just taking money and putting it into the hands.
Has that money reached the women?
It started reaching them. We're actually working on and when I say that, let me be very clear. It was just cleared the eve of the International Women's Day, because as it is, to show you the level of political will, even where we hadn't fully engaged the budget, I'm still a young secretariat just coming up and everything, His Excellency wasted no time. Once the proposal came in having it fast-tracked and arranged, and then now giving us the challenge of, now I've given it to you, you get to work. And immediately what we're able to do is put together an arrangement where we're going to have a proper 3-day empowerment training and workshop on different areas, both in farming, in entrepreneurship, and in different areas, and also in ICT training, and be able to then give the women starter packs. So it's not just about money to just go out and follow up some dream without they having the proper supervision and training and intervention to manage what is startup capital, turn it around, reinvest it, and make it begin to propagate what rescales the economy around them. We did a spotlight. I went to Kwali to meet the Akpu women who have the sale of the Akpu, the cassava mainstay.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They're there on the expressway. And apparently we are doing this review because we're preparing for CSW, and we want to be able to go to the CSW and show them very real, authentic, not just stories, but brands of our own grassroots invested economies through women that we have in our FCT environment.
Okay, stay with us as we take the short break. We'll be back soon. Welcome back to On the Spot with Mandate Secretary, Women Affairs and Children of the FCT, Adedayo Benjamin's Laniyi. At the 9th Assembly, saw women protesting against some bills they felt that didn't scale through. Were you among those women that went for that protest?
I wasn't among the women that went for the protest, but I was part of the movement. Remember, I was running for the Senate at that time. Yes,
okay.
exactly.
But obviously you supported their movement.
Definitely, yes, in the view that we all looked at it.
A lot of people have now looked at it and argued some certain things. You spoke about a lot of things that women are doing. And when you look at some of the requests that mean that they asked for a bill to allocate 35% of political positions based on appointment to women. Another legislation sought to create special seats for women in national and state assemblies. For a lot of people, women like you have done a lot. A lot of people think that this is more or less argue that this is demeaning, women asking for special seats. You should be working for this. You should be encouraging girls to your right should be out there, that you should get the right education, work hard, and rather than asking for.
Conversations come in different ways.
Sit on the platter of gold.
There is an expression that there are many roads and ways to enter a market. When it comes to opening a car door, yes, ladies first. But when it comes to opening the door of legislation and National Assembly, ladies wait. So the fact of the matter is this.
What the women are asking now is that if you only asking now, still asking for ladies first. Open the door let us go and sit down first before you start coming in.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong in asking. The real challenge, and this is what is important, we are voices that must be heard and that are posturing, not just to be heard, but to be engaged. And in that place of profitable engagement, to come with resultant impact-setting representations at legislative level and with legislative opportunities. The fact of the matter is, legislation in itself is the ambit of society to create opportunity not just for one individual, but for communities, institutions, for representations within development and global assignment. It's not just about, we just want to be seen sitting pretty in the National Assembly. We want to make sure that as voices that are part of the decisive constitutional representation and resetting the experience, the realities of women and girl children, and the legacy of those that have gone before us and sacrificed into this. Yes, the numbers being what they are, challenge the numbers of what we can be. Because when it comes to policies and those decisions, those final decisions with the signatures, the women simply are not represented at all or completely underrepresented. So what does it entail? It entails some people will be at the gate shouting, insisting, and saying we are not going home until we get that space. Other people will be coordinating themselves for political engagement so that through that visibility, either by election or appointeeship, they're able to get there. Everybody together becomes a coalition of one voice asking for one thing. The woman and her space should be giving her first representation by, yes, her professional calling. There's no question. I'm not saying, give women what they don't deserve in terms of the value of either our pedigree of professional qualifications or capacities. No, but the reality is this. When it comes to the men running for these positions, nobody's asking them about what qualifies them. Nobody is checking out the certification agenda. It's not, you see, this is why we say it is not equal.
I asked that because we're talking about the last election you contested.
Yes.
If I get it right, you are the only woman that came out to contest.
Yes, under the APS.
So when you look at even the FCT here, you hardly see women coming out to contest elections.
You know what I found very interestingly? We hardly see women coming out to contest elections because of the very bitter
Come out and show yourself.
The bitter experience that women have had, and it has created the perception that why bother? You're just going to waste your money, waste your time, and end up becoming a reputational risk by the people who perceive you either as a nuisance in the political environment or space. The reality, however, is this. What you don't find at a level of a more elite structure of women presenting themselves, I found that at the grassroots level, the women are the demographic that make the political expression, even here in the FCT, such a unique dimension of impacting change. Our APC woman leader, the Honorable Hail Mary, she set up APC in the FCT. The history of that entire trajectory would never be what it is presently in the Federal Capital Territory if a woman of non-indigenous representation in the FCT had not come out to invest her money, her time, her resources, and even went ahead to become part of the representation in terms of the engagement of leadership here within the FCT. I have met women, that is Hail Mary Aipo. Now let's even drill it down. You have people like Honorable Ronke Balogun. These are people, you don't know about them. Mommy Yogurt in Kwali. Have you ever heard of her before? These are women who gave their all and continue to give their all, sacrificing and earning nothing from it. In fact, a lot of those women, I ended up becoming an inspiration for them that now set up what we call HAPWIP, Hope Again for Women in Politics in the FCT. Apart from me, there were what we call the famous five. Those 5 women who had the audacity to run. We had Mero Bulldozer, Mero Ushapa, we had the 2 parties that ran for AMAC. All of them, all of these were women who stood out, who put themselves at extreme risk reputationally and also in terms of financial investment and other exposure.
Okay, let me just, that takes me to this whole idea of women supporting women. You just mentioned some women there who have done incredibly well. A lot of people have argued that women have always been the architect of their own downfall. A lot of women, they don't really get the support of other women. Even in politics, you see that women go to vote others. How much of that advocates like you trying to change now? And how much of it are you doing within the FCT?
That's who I am, and that's how I'm here. And that's my commitment and resolve. I love this year's theme for the International Women's Day about inspiring inclusion. And for me, it begins with every woman inspiring another woman. When women walk together, they work together. What makes us distinct in our gender connection is not even so much, oh, women are mothers, therefore let them lead. I say let women be models above being mothers. Let them be models of leadership, models of integrity, models of all of that. But much more, what connects women, gives us inclusion, is sisterhood. The fact that we become a hood, an umbrella for each other. I've got your back, you've got mine. And we're able to walk a talk for each other. It's something, yes, we have to unlearn and completely end the narrative that says that women don't support women. Of course, I see women who don't support women. I've experienced women who don't support women. But I'm a woman who supports women. Whatever it is, I am going to stand and represent here and now. Let it represent what still brings a more holistic view rather than a disappointment review.
Okay, I think that's where we'll stop for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mandate Secretary.
Thank you so much.
Women Affairs and Children of the FCT. Thank you for being on the spot.
And thank you for putting me on the spot.
It's been a pleasure. All right, thank you there for watching too. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.